Good morning. It's Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. This is Things You Might Not Have Heard for this day and presented by The Conversation Project at thisistheconversationproject.com. More information about what The Conversation Project is all about, how to follow the feeds, and how to help us keep people fed, if you will, keep the lights on, if you will, of various different ways of saying supporting the show via our sponsors or our partnership links at the website. This is a conversationproject.com. What you will provide for you in the next 15, 20 minutes or so are 5 news stories, plus a few other things you might not have known for today. If you're not a big news person, you'll find that what you're seeing on the main news is same things over and over again because they're focusing on the big stories, which they should be. So there's a lot of Russia, you got a lot of Ukraine, a little bit of coronavirus thrown in here or there. And right now, some Tangi Brown Jackson, who is about to be confirmed, I'm going to call it right now, as our next Supreme Court justice. We will see how that works out. But we're going to cover some stories that may have been missed in the top headlines, more or less section B, C, and maybe D stuff out there. These are stories that are real legit stories and from some mostly real legit sources. And they've been vetted by you as stories that are important to talk about, important to kind of get into. So we're going to share them with other folks because you probably were part of the voting to put it in there. We'll explain how all that works in just a bit. Right now, let's go ahead and get into the news for this morning, which is actually news for, yesterday. Story number 1 is this one. iCloud and many other Apple services are down or experiencing issues. MacRumors.com gave us this one late in the day, and oddly enough, this one became a pretty big deal because when you can't use your devices here in this day and age, 2022 and all, people freak out and go to their devices to post about how they can't use their devices. I know it doesn't make any sense, but it works that way. So there's a lot of flack, a lot of things going down. Apple getting a lot of barbs yesterday in the afternoon when their services went down for about an hour and a half or so. iCloud and other Apple services that were on the web in the cloud, if you will, not being able to, cloud up, if that makes any sense. So we had a lot of time, people with the time on their hands because they couldn't access their photos or documents to complain about it. It was fixed, like I said, pretty quickly, and no serious damage was told. And these things happen every so often. Things go out, brownouts happen, servers go down. You use the internet for a little bit. And the one thing that we do these days is go to the internet to complain about it. This was the early salvo as the downage, the power outage, the outages was going on, and no real updates to what exactly was going down. Nothing serious, at least, nothing sinister. Just one of those times when your iCloud went down in the middle of whatever you're doing, and because you think it's important, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, you freak out. That's just how that one worked out on this day yesterday. So right now, as far as I know, at 5:50 in the morning on Tuesday, all Apple devices are back to full strength. Next story. This is a sad story here. 2 Pennsylvania troopers among 3 hit by a car and killed on I-95 in Philadelphia. NBCNews.com gave us this one. And this is a really tragic irony story. And I hate to put it this way, but it is what happened. 2 Pennsylvania troopers had pulled over a guy on the streets yesterday, and just random speeder doing stupid stuff on the roadways. They pull him over. They give him a ticket. He drives away. All said, all good. Hours later, those same 2 troopers are out on the middle of the freeway, I-95, helping a motorist deal with the car. Those 2 troopers and the motorist all hit by a car. They killed on the side of the roadway. The ironic part about it was the person that they pulled over earlier in the day. We are sending out thoughts and prayers to the troopers, thoughts and prayers to the pedestrian, or the person in the car working that. And yes, we send thoughts and prayers to the person who caused this, because not only are they going to be living their not so best lives going forward, there's a lot of people in their family that have to deal with what, in most cases is the stupidity of being stupid in the moment and the actions that happen. So we just have lots of prayers going out to a lot of people on something that definitely should not have happened yesterday afternoon. Story number 3. Israeli Prime Minister says large gaps remain in ceasefire talks between Russia, Ukraine. The Hill.com is the source of the story, and you can probably guess how this goes on. The Israelis are, weirdly enough, being the peace brokers between, or trying to be one of the peace brokers between Russia and Ukraine. There are various other nations, various other peoples trying to do some stuff. Turkey doing their thing as well. Although Turkey is sort of, I would say, taking Russia's side kind of in this thing. Israel probably taking Ukraine's side in this thing. However, doesn't matter what side you're taking if both sides aren't working very well. And what you're seeing is lots and lots of talks, lots of large gaps in what's going on. Essentially, what's been told, what the Russians want is to have Ukraine be declared neutral and completely demilitarized, which Ukraine is like, we didn't do anything. That's not our problem. Have the various areas that were seized by Russia still be independent, i.e. are kind of randomish, owned by Russia, which Ukraine's like, we didn't give these people this stuff. And other things like the whole denazification thing, which makes no sense because there aren't a bunch of Nazis running around ruling Ukraine, as far as anyone can tell. In fact, as we know, the president, Zelensky, is Jewish, of Jewish descent, and has actually had family who survived and did not survive the actual Holocaust, that thing that people think didn't exist. So how this is going to work out, why there are huge gaps, it's pretty obvious why there's huge gaps. Russia's asking for a lot of crazy stuff. Ukraine's kind of like, nope. We will see what's going on. The real irony of this is Russia seems to be doing so poorly in the war and running out of resources and morale so bad that they're basically making all sorts of plays to make this thing go away fast and force the Ukrainians to just take in whatever they're throwing out there, even if everything they're throwing out there, as far as they're concerned, the Ukrainians, is BS. That's kind of my point. I'm pretty sure many folks who actually have some dogs in the sun can actually say that as well. Amazon reeling in Al Michaels for Thursday Night Football. Touchdown.usa.com gives us that one. So that's the football blog-ish thing from USA Today. And the shuffle continues. Now, we've got a lot of quarterback shuffles going on right now and some big names shifting around, but there's also a lot of big name talent in the voice work going on. Al Michaels, who was leaving the NBC Sunday Night Football broadcast anyway via contract, because his contract was over and Mike Tirico was taking over the actual seat calling the games this season, now has another home to do some work. He's going to Thursday Night Football, bringing some gravitas to Thursday Night Football, and I believe Kurt Herbstreit is going along with him in this one. I didn't pull the full notes from this one, but I think it's rumored that Kurt Herbstreit will be his partner over there for Thursday night, which means Kurt Herbstreit making the big time, I guess, doing it for the prime time number one, and NFL football going forward. I mean, there's a great way that he can keep doing his weekend stuff as well. But this article, this piece that we got focused on Al Michaels with the shift. Now, as you know, we now have new players for ABC, and they're one game a week, being Troy Aikman and Joe Buck. We knew that Mike Tirico was shifting over to the big chair for NBC. We see Al Michaels going independent, if you will, to Amazon. There's still some things going on. I'm not sure off the top of my head who is taking over for Jim Nantz, who essentially is retiring, who's hanging out with Tony Romo at the moment. I can't think of that off the top of my head if we did say that one. There's a lot of folks going on. There's a lot of movement going on, a lot of quarterback movement, which is getting some big eyeballs, and a lot of voice movements, which oddly enough are getting big eyeballs. Let's take a quick break from the news. One more story that you're going to love, trust me. But something that I loved yesterday was my wife handed me my package, and these things right here came out. These are my brand new glasses from Zenni Optical. Yes, they look exactly like my other glasses from Zenni Optical. I thought I had them over here, so I'd flash them real quick because I like the same basic frame. That is who I am. I did get a bit upgrade because I had a new prescription, so my eyes are a little better. I can see things better now. And there's a little extra tint to the glasses, which does seem to help in seeing what I'm with the lights going on here, but still has a bit of glare. We'll work on that. That's all, smoke and mirrors going on. I love Zenni Optical. These frames were inexpensive. These lenses were inexpensive. They came to me in a couple days, and the process was quick and simple, especially since I'm a previous customer. I just pulled up my old prescription, adjusted for my new prescription, clicked a couple things, added a couple of features, and bam, brand new glasses shipped directly to me. And if I didn't like them, I could ship them back. But why would I not like them? I ordered the exact same pair of glasses for like 5 years straight. So why would I not like the look? And I can see out of them. So I'm pretty sure that's where I'm going to go. You should check them out as well. If you're in the mood for new glasses, Zenni Optical can take great care of you with great prices and great equipment, great glasses. They have sports glasses. They have blue blocking lenses. They have transitions lenses. They have, they're not, and the cool thing is they're not thick Coke bottle lenses. They're great lenses in great glasses, great frames at Zenni Optical. Go to our link at thisisaconversationproject.com/Zenni, and you get a great deal for your glasses. We get a little bit back because it is an affiliate link, but you get a great deal on great glasses, and it won't cost you anything extra. Check them out. Zenni Optical is the bomb when it comes to eyewear. Now, this is not much more than more or less rumor and innuendo, but metro.co.uk has Britney Spears, air quotes, or real quotes since you can read it, working on new music after a 6-year hiatus. She has not produced anything in 6 years, anything new at least. She's done a residency in Las Vegas. She's done some shows here or there. She may have done a spot here or there, offered up her music and some sort of things. But Britney Spears is now working on new music. Now, whether Britney can keep up with the new teen pop stars since she's now pushing 40, that's going to be a whole different thing. But, you know, people love them some Britney. People will support Britney, and people will give Britney all they need to get her a good album, including producers and folks like that, because they know now that Britney is free of the eyeballs of her pops. Britney means money for more people, and that's the point. Britney means money, cash for more people going forward. So more people have a shot of not being so nice to her, but because she's mending so much money, more people have a shot of being much more nicer to her and hopefully being more protective of her now that the guiding force of pops is hopefully no longer a big deal. Let's go to our teaser story. This is a story that posted a little bit before we went on to the recording of this video, but it's one that you may have a chance to vote up. So we talk about tomorrow. We'll tease that now, and we'll explain that in a moment. This headline reads: Wednesday, Christina Ricci to return to Addams Family Universe in upcoming Netflix series, and it's called Wednesday. There's a new series on Netflix that's starring Christina Ricci, bringing back Wednesday Addams in her adult version, her final form, maybe, if you will, and we will see how that plays out in Netflix. It's directed by Tim Burton. It's live action. It's going to be a blast, I'm sure. But the fans of the old Addams Family live version movie starring Christina Ricci and, of course, the late Raul Julia will get a chance to get Wednesday as an adult in the next generation. We're not sure all the big bits and pieces of it, other than the fact that it's an adult Wednesday, but we'll find out soon, and we'll sure this is going to be one that will make an impact into your viewing habits, becoming something that may be something you may need to join into pretty quickly. So, wrong button click, but that's okay. We can live with that. We want to talk to you now about this one. There's some sleight of hands that I missed out there with the switches. So when you hit the wrong buttons, things don't fall in line like they should. And now we're there. Things you might not have heard is a service, a product, a thingamajigger coming from the Conversation Project. Find out more about the Conversation Project at thisistheconversationproject.com. Also find links to our sponsors and to our partnership pages so that you may want to say some of our other sponsors. Zenni Optical is just one of our proud sponsors, and some ways you can partner with us directly to keep the lights on and keep the kid fed and keep the wife happy. That's what we're looking to do, and keep me doing this, which is, of course, what's keeping me sane these days. If you want to follow the feeds, you see below, scrolling behind at the bottom, those are links to the feeds. But you also see there in the Chiron to my right, my left, this is the Conversation Project and th_conversation on Facebook and Twitter, respectively. When you follow us on Facebook and Twitter, we will see a news story, just like we had in the teaser story, that posts about every 50 minutes or so. And every 50 minutes, the news story posts. As you check your feed, like, love, hate, share, engage with the stories that you see on the fitter. That's Facebook and Twitter together. And that wasn't meant to be purpose, but maybe it's a thing on the Twitter or the Facebook, and you can see what stories may pop up tomorrow in things that you might not have heard. As we said, we go through various feed readers, various aggregators, and aggregate our own stuff and present to you the top stories. Tuesday through Thursday mornings at 5 a.m., we pull those news stories and we put them in a scoring system to put them from top to bottom based on your engagement. And we pick from the top 15 stories 5 stories to present to you. Monday, we pick from top 30 stories of the weekend, 7 stories to present to you. So we get a big old shebang on Monday. On Tuesday through Friday, it's normal shebang, not so big old. So it goes with that. I'll also give you a few other things you might not have heard, including celebrity birthdays. People born this day include Reese Witherspoon, who's knocking out of the park as a producer and an actress these days. William Shatner, one of the newest actual rocket men to be a rocket man, and one half of Key and Peele. You can argue whether which half is better. This one's doing more acting, the other one's doing more producing and freaking people out. Keegan Michael Key, who's not doing so much producing, but still doing plenty of acting and all over the place as well. Today is March 22nd, so those birthdays for that day. It's also American Diabetes Association Alert Day. So if you can hear the loud clap of thunder, we've had a storm kind of sitting out for our house for what seems like 12 hours. As a person who suffers from type 2 diabetes, this is a day that actually means something to me. So if you're a person who are not quite taking care of their health and may have some issues with some slowness, may have some issues with some just energy, and may know they have a history of issues with the sugar in your family, today is a good day to try to start looking up some information and getting a checkup, if you can get one scheduled, to see if you are pre-diabetes or already in the diabetic zones. And if you are a person who suffers from what's known as childhood diabetes, basically type 1 diabetes, essentially born with issues with insulin. This is also a day that, you alert on those things as well. If you have children dealing with diabetes and things like that, make sure that they are taken care of and people understand what it is that they're going through. And one last thing you might not know for today, 2 of Shakespeare's plays have been translated into Klingon. This was an interesting thing that popped up in the listing of interesting things. Those 2 plays, Much Ado About Nothing and Hamlet. Hamlet makes sense. Tragedy. Klingons like, weird blood stuff. Much Ado About Nothing, a much more lighter toned one. Maybe they like satire. I guess they're Klingons. You gotta love them. This has been Things You Might Not Have Heard for Tuesday, March 22nd, 2022. My name is still Jay Cleveland Payne, and I'm still producing from theconversationproject.com and More Better Media. To be a part of the show, as we said, follow the feeds, and you can help us vote in the stories we'll talk about the next day. If you be a part of the show as the person who actually helps things go along, stop by our website, thisistheconversationproject.com, and stop by our sponsors page or our partnerships page and see if there's a way that you can partner up with us, or if there's a sponsor that can take care of you to help take care of us. In the meantime, I'm going to take care of some news stories in a little bit and then take care of the work day and be back here tomorrow morning about 5:50 in the morning for another edition of and it takes a little longer than it maybe should, but I'm a rambler, gotta love it, for another edition for Things You Might Not Have Heard for this day, for Tuesday, for Wednesday. It gets confusing. So we'll see you tomorrow with 5 more stories that you might not have heard, but are pretty good to know about.